Hello, my friends. I'm finally back to YouTube, I think. At least I'm in my new space here. And I wanted to share some of my reflections over the last few months that began when I drew, or they started to develop, I should say, when I drew this card called Balanced Forces. And that made me realize how much I was currently in what I would call very much masculine energy. So I was in the process of doing a lot of things, thinking about a lot of things, and not really having any time to be reflective. And thus, no forthcoming videos during this time. I thought about it a lot, but it just never did occur. And things were more hectic than I expected, and there was more to do than I expected. I've always had a kind of difficulty with time and understanding how long things take. They seem to be simple with my mind, but always take longer than I ever imagined. So I wanted to talk a little bit about feminine and masculine energies, beyond gender, to express more of what I was feeling and about that point in my life, I guess. So I have some notes so I can keep myself on track here. But for the feminine, I wrote down words such as space, creativity, heart, receptiveness, and expansion. For masculine, I wrote down movement, detailed, implementation, mind, driven, focused, and contractive. I was also thinking about the qualities of the sun and the moon. And the sun is usually associated with the masculine. And I'm thinking particularly about the fact that we recognize the movement of the sun through the solstices. And so the sun returns at the winter solstice and then begins to recede at the summer solstice, which means that the sun has a yearly cycle, whereas the moon completes a cycle within each month. And it comes in with the darkness, which relates to the feminine in that you're going deeper into your emotional space, deeper into your reflective space. Whereas the sun, you're taking action from that receptive space, that reflective space. So I feel like what I was missing during this past months in order to express more of something within inside of me is being able to go into that moon reflective space. And I've mostly only been in the sun or masculine doing and functioning space, taking care of things in my life without going deeper to discover more. So this was kind of a theme over the last few months, and then there were some things that have happened during the period that were more specific. One is that I was hanging out with my friend's band one evening and drawing. And the I ended up drawing what I immediately felt was a sun dragon, which I'll show here on the screen somewhere. It seemed very obvious to me because there was like a sun in the middle and a dragon curving over it, like it was being protective of that sun energy. So I went to look up sun dragon, and in fact, there is some verbiage out there about sun dragon. Sun dragon is healing, it's energetic, it's connection. But when the sun dragon is out of balance, it can cause headaches, vertigo, dizziness, migraines, brain fog, broken thought, disorganization, poor memory, and lack of direction. So although I feel like I was working more with the masculine, more with the sun, I felt like I was also experiencing some of these symptoms because I wasn't taking time or enabling myself time to go inward and rest and be in a reflective space. I would say that I took more time just kind of vegging out versus being productive in my reflective space. So that was one thing. Then I did another drawing. So the sun dragon I did on January 20th. And I was thinking it was near the solstice, but that's actually a month after the solstice. But maybe there was some connection with that regard. The next drawing I did was February 24th. And this drawing, which I'm going to show here somewhere as well, seemed to have those colors of the sun still. But it's like there's a feminine quality to it, and there's kind of a trying to break out. So maybe the feminine was having that desire within me to come to the surface, that my brain was so tired that it was begging me, so to speak, to take the time to be more receptive. However, I think my nature is such that I wasn't really willing to do that. I'm like a quadruple Aries, Sun, Moon, Mars, and Jupiter. And so there's a lot of forceful energy that wants to move forward. Thankfully, I'm also a Cancer rising, which helps me to bring out my heart. And what I think most people will see in me. Our rising sign generally is the qualities that we see within another, not necessarily the sun or what we would call our sign, so to speak. So I think that this image shows some of that aspect of the feminine wanting to break into the masculine energy that I was embodying. And it was between this time and that I did draw this oracle card that I had showed you at the beginning, and was recognizing that I was, in fact, just really embodying the masculine energy. So I was really getting a dose of what does that feel like in my body to only be operating from that side of things. I think it brought me a lot of frustration and didn't always bring me solutions in a smooth fashion, or mostly just a lot of frustration. that probably could have been ameliorated by other actions if I had taken the time and was willing to be more inward and reflective and let go of some of the situations that occurred, and perhaps given more space for the project overall. So then after the drawing, on April 27th, there's a Zen center that I attend, and somebody was giving a talk on a process called Lectio Divina, which is has Catholic origins, I believe. And so it's kind of like reading something and reflecting and going further inward. And we used a chant from the Zen Center called Shantideva's Bodhisattva Vow. And so this is a chant that 3 different people read out loud, and then the direction was to pick some element of it to reflect on further. And I think the direction was to meditate, but often in my process, if I close my eyes, which I happen to at this time, I can spontaneously go into imagery, or like a shamanic, what I would call a shamanic journey. And the images that came, I forgot to mention that the wording or the line that I chose to reflect on was called, it is the great sun that finally removes the misty ignorance of the world. So within my energy imagery, I saw like the sun or God source or spirit, whatever name you would want to choose for that, come down into my heart. And I felt as if it was clearing out garbage within my heart and just kind of moving it around and tossing it out, kind of thing. Creating space for something else. And then it felt like I was moving backwards, and there were kind of all of these purple and blue clouds in the sky, and I wasn't quite sure where it was going, but at one point I saw like a tiny light or star, and it seemed to be wrapping around the earth. And then finally at some point this star, I think, went into my heart center, and it was like it was breaking apart some final debris within there. And what came to me from that was kind of a mantra. When I am supported, my heart breaks open. And I want to go back to the discussion of masculine and feminine, but particularly the masculine and the masculine energy that I have been in. That, the masculine is related to the sun. And the sun, when it comes, particularly as the spring starts, will notice that the plants come to revive itself, or the flowers start to bloom. And I associate that with the mantra here that came to me. When I am supported, my heart breaks open. Because it seems like there have been times where I have not felt supported in my life. Well, actually, there have been a lot of times where I've not felt supported in my life. And that just makes it difficult to really move forward on anything that the heart is wanting to do. But when you're in an environment that you do feel supported, that somebody can come up to you and when you've done something wrong and say, oh, that's okay, let's try this, or assist you in teaching you how to do something versus just leaving you flailing in the world. That's a much better way to incrementally open and be able to move forward in different ways with the heart center. And remember that I was mostly in a masculine energy these past few months. And so that masculine energy, in a sense, left me kind of flailing. And I am starting to kind of break up my words at the moment because I'm starting to reflect and wonder about kind of a collision happening there in my reflections, in that it's like the sun comes in to be supportive, to give the life, and yet there's also some quality that if it's just doing that, just doing action, there's no space for that reflective moment. So let's go back to try to relate that to the fact that when we're trying to feel supported and that sun energy comes in, maybe what I'm trying to express is that there needs to be that balance, that we're doing something in the world, and then when somebody comes to support us, that's the more feminine reflective side. And so what we're really trying to do is to be in balance with both of those qualities in order to feel supported and to move forward, versus not feeling supported and not being able to move in a particular direction very well. We're probably able to move forward with time, but I think maybe it can happen faster when those two qualities are in balance. There was another aspect within this that I also thought of, and I wrote sun as source that is outside of us, but also within us. So in my imagery that came through, it was like that source came into my heart, but also that there seemed to be this light within my heart that was breaking open. And I guess that just goes to my belief that all of us are contained within Source. We're not separate from it, but we are together one. But we live in separate bodies with a piece of that Source within us. So it's a two-way street of, again, balancing something that we have a part of and moving in the world, maybe. There's just something in the felt sense within me when I say the sun as source that is outside of us, but also within us. We are supported by the sun. We are supported by the all consciousness. And yet, living on earth in this world, we need the support and consciousness of others. We need their parts that they bring to us, as well as our own. And the last thing I wanted to talk about today was from this week. I've been into Kundalini Yoga for many years, and within this week's class, there was a kriya of nostril breathing, and it was just kind of a reminder because we were doing combinations of left and right nostril breathing. So the breathing from the left side, and so that's the right brain. That's considered the feminine side, and that's where your limbic system is, your feeling and emotional side, versus the right side, which is the masculine left brain side, which is the thoughts and the logical systems. So just because I had thought about talking about feminine and masculine energies, I thought to include this as the last thing that occurred during this time for me. And that's, I think, one way or one action you can take if you want to get more into your feminine side or your masculine side. And I just want to mention also that breathing the feminine side through the left nostril, I've found to be a great way to go to sleep if you're having trouble falling asleep. Do about a minute of breathing in and breathing out of the left nostril, and that can help you to calm yourself down and to sleep. Remember those qualities of giving space, creativity, being receptive and expansive as you go off into the dreamland and create space for what you might create next in your world. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope to be back again very soon. We'll probably have another question for ourselves, and some art processes, and some water consciousness, and some cards and such. So I hope you're having a great day, and we'll see you again soon. Bye now.